Here's what you need to know about the draft Medicare Physician Fee Schedule, which determines how much therapy makes under Medicare Part B. It's Clarice with Amplify OT, and I help practitioners like you understand how reimbursement and Medicare impact your job. So every year, Medicare comes out with something called the Medicare Physician Fee Schedule, or you'll see it abbreviated MPFS. The fee schedule determines what Medicare Part B will cover and how much they're going to pay for it. Now, unfortunately, the last few years, occupational therapy as well as other therapies have gotten a bit of a raw deal under the Medicare Physician Fee Schedule, and we have received some pretty significant cuts. Because if something goes up on the Medicare Physician's Fee Schedule, something else has to come down because it has to be something called budget neutral. And unfortunately, this year looks no different. Now, this isn't entirely a surprise because Congress did provide a temporary bump in payment underneath the year-end omnibus bill, and they already had decreased it for this year, adding only a 1.5% bump versus a 3% bump. But Medicare did add another conversion factor on top of that, which has to do with how much your CPT codes are worth. And we're looking at potentially around a 3.5% reduction for next year. But it's not all doom and gloom. There is a couple of really good news. First, Medicare included the first ever caregiver training CPT codes under the Medicare Part B and as eligible codes for therapy practitioners, meaning that all the times that you start training caregivers, talking to them in the hallway, that could become a service that you can actually be paid for. This is in large part thanks to a lot of advocacy from AOTA and other practitioners telling the AMA and Medicare about how important caregiver education is and outcomes and why they should pay for it. Basically, this means that this could be a whole new revenue stream for your company. Number two, something that's really exciting is they did confirm that they are expanding telehealth until calendar year 2024. So we will have access to telehealth under Part B for another entire year for OT, PT, and speech. And they are extending the waiver, allowing for general supervision of OTAs and PTAs in private practice. This waiver was originally slated to expire at the end of calendar year 2023, but because they're expanding telehealth, they said that the waiver goes along with it. So they're expanding general supervision until the end of 2024, which means this could save a lot of jobs this year. And last but not least, in relationship to supervision for OTAs and PTAs, CMS is asking for you to submit a comment on whether or not they should consider permanently changing direct supervision requirements to general supervision under Medicare Part B in private practice. This would not only be life changing for all of our OTAs and PTAs, also especially for those who are wanting to work in OT in the home, mobile outpatient, and our rural areas that really heavily rely on occupational therapy assistance. So, what you can do is submit a comment to Medicare telling them why changing the supervision laws is important, why you want to see them support caregiver education codes, and also encouraging them to not give us any more cuts. Now, AOTA is already engaging in advocacy around this issue. I'm sure there'll be a lot more news to come out because the physician fee schedule was over 1,000 pages. The final rule will not be published until sometime this fall. So stay tuned for more information on how this is going to impact you, and we'll see what happens in Congress.